Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel fear.
Just creators, be very, very careful. Only use the studio music. And
I was like, just hey, smile around and find out. I haven't played that in a while. How are y'all doing tonight? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Dawn Emery. Hello. Let me get this on here. Hello. Welcome in. Lady Q, welcome in. Hello, nice to see you. Welcome, everybody. Who else we got here? Raymond Thomas. Hello, Raymond. All right. Hello to you. Salute to you, sir. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. So everybody had an interesting day. I'm sitting here in the dark again. Sitting here in the dark. It's all good over here in Smiley's Hood. So how's everybody? Today is October 17th, 2025. It's finally Friday. Hey, BA Ladybug, good to see you. Hello, welcome in. Hi, H. Davis. Hello, and Chuchi. Hello. Come on in. Grab you some coffee, some tea, whatever you feel like drinking tonight. It's Friday, finally Friday. I hope everybody's doing well. God, I almost got choked on my coffee. I need to stop talking and drinking at the same time. Stop talking and drinking at the same time. Sober as a jaybird and talking and drinking at the same time. You got root beer. I got my coffee. And I got my Coke. I think it's Coke today. They better put Coke in it. No, I could tell if it was Pepsi. It's Coke. It is Coke. Coca-Cola. I ain't got not root beer. I usually drink Dr. Pepper, but didn't have no Dr. Pepper today. So there you go. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope you come on in and join me. Hello, Ruby. Hello. Nice to see you. Coke Zero for you. Yeah, I got completely off of them for a while. I'm drinking them a little bit here and there randomly. I had one yesterday. I'm drinking half of one today. My stomach's been giving me a lot of problems. I broke down and drank a milkshake earlier today. But, yep. It is what it is, honey. I got I think they have the best ice cream is Chick-fil-A. I like their ice cream. And so I don't really like vanilla shakes, but I got a vanilla shake there today. And it was good. I was out running around again as usual. Root beer does sound good. I remember when I was a kid, they used to make those root beer floats. Yeah, I remember with the ice cream and all the root beer on top of it and all the stuff. Just got done with a pot of coffee. Yeah, I'm having like my second cup right now. I really haven't had enough caffeine today. I found that I'm cutting down on my coffee. It's not intentional really. I just am not drinking it as much anymore. I don't know what's going on or why. I love it, but it is what it is. Yeah. You don't do ice cream. I'm not a big ice cream eater. It has to be the perfect place or something. I used to get the ice cream, just the Napoleon, and I would either eat the first chocolate, and I'm not a big chocolate person, but I like the chocolate ice cream. And then I would get chocolate, and if I had to, I would get the strawberry. I never would touch the vanilla. But anyway, even to this day, now I don't drink milk. I've never been, since I've been off the bottle, I don't drink milk. But what I will do is in my ice cream, I'll take a little tiny bit of milk and pour over it, make it a little bit tiny frozen, and those little ice chips on it. And then I'll stir it up. Ooh, it's so good. But I'm not a big ice cream eater either. Now, my mama was she lived to eat ice cream. Every time you talked to her, she was clinking the spoon, eating ice cream. I said, get off the phone, honey. Go eat your ice cream. And every time she'd find a new brand, I'm just like, ugh, that don't sound good to me. Hey, Millie. Hello, beautiful Millie. How are you doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's doing well. We're going to, I say lighten it up. I mean, we're going to lighten it up a little bit. It's going to be interesting, educational, I think, and interesting. Some of it might be triggering. Some of the videos, hopefully they won't be too bad. I haven't watched each and every one of them all the way through. I scanned through the ones that I wanted to watch. And let me just go ahead and say, allowance is made for fair use. I think my mods will like it that I got it scrolling across the top now. But if you feel the need, you still want to put it in the thing, you can, but it is scrolling across the top. But let me say, copyright disclaimer under the section 107 Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and for research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing on nonprofit, educational, or personal use. So, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Better say it all. But we're going to watch a few videos and we're going to talk about it. I think it's an interesting subject. I think a lot of people wonder, and these people, all my life I've heard this. People say that it's happened to them. I don't know if y'all read in the little post I made on my thing. I don't know if anybody bothers to do that or whatever, but I don't know. I've never seen the other side, but we got some interesting stuff to talk about. What happens after you die? What if, what if I told you, what if I told y'all right now that more than 20,000, not 20,000, I'm sorry, more than 20 million people worldwide claim they have died. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you so much. Where is my stuff? Here we go. Woo, you get a bell today. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you. Raymond gifted a membership. Whoever got that membership, please thank Raymond. We love you, Raymond. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And please tell Chicken Lady, hello, hello, hello. Always, always, always. Oh, hold on a minute. And thank you everybody for coming in. I really appreciate you so much. Your husband hates talking about it. Yeah, a lot of people hates talking about it. And I told him I want to shop for life insurance and paying for the funeral. And he rolls his eyes. Yeah, and it's something we all need to do. But it's something we all put off. It really is. And why? I don't know, because it's inevitable. We're all, no matter if we live to be 100, 102, 55 million years old, it's going to happen to us. Okay? It's scary, but you shouldn't be, well, I guess it depends on what you believe. This is not about believing anything. I'm not here to tell anybody to believe anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're here to talk, to learn. I think it's an interesting subject to engage, see what other people's stories are, because other people say it has happened to them. And on both sides, honey, on both sides, all things. And some people believe and some people don't, and that's just fine. But more than 20 million people worldwide claim that they've died. Who are we to judge? Was we them? What are we them? They said they died and they came back. And a lot of them had the same story: light, peace, seeing their loved ones. Sometimes, though, some of them don't come back talking about the light. We're going to see that tonight, too. That might be triggering. They talk about the other side. They all talk about the other side. And we're going to listen, and we're going to compare, and we're going to question. We'll probably question everything. We'll probably leave here questioning everything. We think we know about death. You know, I don't think we really do. It's not, like Chuchi said, it's a hard subject. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody. You know why Millie said, I know what I've seen and heard for you. Yeah, and Millie's been a nurse. Okay, so Millie knows. Millie knows what she's seen and heard for years. Absolutely. And I know what I've been told, and we're going to, you know, it's just going to give you chills. I think it's interesting. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear and what you're about to see will give you chills as well. And, you know, you can put in here where you're tuning in from, where you're coming from. You can talk amongst yourselves. You can put little angels. You can put flames, emojis. Do whatever you want to do. But I encourage you to listen, and let's just all learn together. We can all learn this together. We're never, what do I say? We're never too smart to learn, and we're never too old to learn, right? I don't know. I've never died, but I do want to tell you this little story before I go on, and then we'll watch a video, and then we'll stop, and then we'll talk, and then we'll stop. We got some videos. We got a lot tonight, so I ain't gonna say so don't get tickled, because I told somebody yesterday I even get tickled at myself. Sometimes I say it's gonna be a short live, and it never is. Well, I ain't gonna say that tonight, because we got some stuff to do. But I never died. I can't say that I died and came back, but I have had a family member, a cousin, who had surgery, and I was trying to remember. I think I told y'all this before. I can't remember. She was in the surgery room, and it was in Hendersonville, Tennessee, at the Hendersonville Hospital up there. And this was years ago, and she had an out-of-body experience. So let me just start with that. So something, I can't remember. I want to get it right, but I can't remember exactly what happened. Something happened. And the whole time, whatever was going on in the operating room. So she never says she was died. She just said she had a out-of-body experience. Okay. And the reason I can believe her is this, in just a minute, what I'm fixing to say, to tell you, you'll understand. But she said she saw and she heard everything that the nurses was doing, and over the tent, you know, they have it like a tent over you, and everything that was being said. And her mom and her sister was out in the waiting room, of course, waiting on her. And for some reason, I don't remember why, but the doctor, I don't think nothing was going wrong. I don't remember, but I don't remember exactly how she said it, but for whatever reason, maybe he went out there to tell them it would be, you know, a little bit longer. I don't know, or how it was going, but I can't remember because it's been so long. He went out there and he told the sister and the mom what was going on. Okay. So she said she saw all of that. She went out there. She followed, you know, she followed the doctor. She was out of body. She said when she woke up, she's something, again, I don't know what was said or whatever. She said something to the nurse said something to her, vice versa, whatever, but they didn't believe her. But something had happened in that operating room, and she told them she saw it, and she saw everything that happened. She said, they almost fainted in there. She said, they said, there's no way. And she said, she told them that the doctor went out there and talked to her mom and her sister that was sitting out there. Anyway, that happened. Later on, after she got home and all that stuff, you know, a little bit of time had passed by, she asked her sister first, and her sister, you know, did the doctor come out there and did he say this and did, you know, whatever, and, you know, tell me this, and they were talking back and forth. Everything lined up exactly correctly. So that's how she explained it. And, you know, she's always stuck to it. They have stuck to it, and I believe it. So I don't know what happened, but I do know that I have heard the stories over the years. I have saw the stories. I don't know what all we're fixing to see here today, but again, some say it's scary, some say it's comfort, and some say it's bad. Some actually get upset because they see the light and they don't want to come back, and then they do come back. I've heard that many a times. I think with her, I might be wrong, but I think I remembered she was not happy with being woke up. She was not happy with being woke up at all. From what she said, but she never called it that she died. She just said it was an out-of-body experience. Hello, Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. So it don't matter what you believe in. It don't matter if you believe in heaven, hell, the afterlife. It don't matter if you don't believe in anything at all. It does not matter. That's, again, not why we're here. There's no judgment whatsoever. None, zero, zip for me. I just, let's just start watching and let's see where it takes us. I just, again, thought it would be an interesting subject. Hey, Pat, hello. And then, excuse me, if anybody's had a experience or anything they want to talk about, you're more than welcome to. And note again, hey, no judgment here. So let's watch a video. Let's start off with one. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know if I want to start with that one. Let's see. Hold on. All right, let's start with this one. Okay. This is near-death experiences credit. I got it in the thing, but if y'all want to drop the link, you can. And we'll hear a little bit, and I'll stop it and whatever. This one is 22 minutes long, but we're going to listen to it. Feel free to grab your drinks, prop your legs up, hit the thumbs up, and let's go.
To die at 32. As a trauma nurse in Seattle, I'd seen death countless times, but experiencing it myself changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and what comes after. I've always considered myself a rational person, someone who believes in science and measurable facts. Before my experience, I would have dismissed near-death experiences as hallucinations caused by a dying brain. But what happened to me was more real than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And it's transformed my understanding of existence itself. It was a seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning at Harborview Medical Center. The emergency department was unusually quiet, one of those rare lulls that always feels like the calm before a storm. I'd been on shift since 6 a.m., and around 10:30, I was checking on a teenage patient who'd come in with a broken arm. The monitors were beeping their usual steady rhythm, and sunlight was streaming through the windows, creating patterns on the hospital floor. Everything felt normal, routine, safe. That's when it happened. Without warning, my chest felt like it was being crushed in a vice. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced, sharp, overwhelming, and absolute. I remember reaching for the wall to steady myself, but my hand never made contact. The last thing I heard was my patient screaming for help as I collapsed to the floor. Everything went black. Later, I learned that I had suffered a massive pulmonary embolism, a blood clot that had traveled to my lungs. The doctors told me it was caused by an undiagnosed clotting disorder, something I'd had since birth but never knew about. I was clinically dead for almost 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes contained an eternity of experience that would forever change my understanding of life, death, and what lies beyond. The first thing I remember after the darkness was the strange sensation of floating. I found myself looking down at my own body on the hospital floor. The scene below me was chaos. My colleagues, people I'd worked with for years, were desperately trying to save my life. Dr. Martinez, our chief of emergency medicine, was doing chest compressions, his usually calm face intense with concentration. Sarah, my best friend and fellow nurse since nursing school, was preparing the defibrillator, her hands steady, but her face streaked with tears. I wanted to tell them I was okay, that the crushing pain was gone, that I felt an inexplicable peace washing over me. But I couldn't communicate with them. I watched as they worked on my lifeless body, calling out medical terms I'd used countless times myself. BFEB, clear, push 1 of epi. It was surreal, watching my own resuscitation like viewing a medical drama on TV, except I was both the audience and the patient. What struck me most in those moments was the absolute absence of fear. Despite seeing my own lifeless body below, I felt completely at peace. It was as if all the anxiety, stress, and worry that had been constant companions throughout my life had simply evaporated. I was filled with a profound sense of rightness, of being exactly where I needed to be. Then everything shifted. I felt myself being drawn away from the hospital room, pulled into what seemed like a tunnel of light. The movement was incredibly fast, faster than anything I'd ever experienced, yet it felt completely natural. The light grew brighter and brighter, but it didn't hurt my eyes. Instead, it felt warm and welcoming, like coming home after a long journey. As I moved through this tunnel of light, I began to notice something extraordinary. My consciousness was expanding. Thoughts became clearer, more profound. I could suddenly understand things that had always puzzled me in life. It was as if I'd been seeing everything through a foggy window before, and now the window had been wiped clean. When I emerged from the tunnel, I found myself in a realm that defies earthly description. The colors were unlike anything I'd ever seen before, colors that don't exist in our physical world. The air itself seemed alive with music, a harmony so beautiful it brought tears to my eyes. But these weren't physical tears. I realized I no longer had a physical body. Instead, I existed as pure consciousness, pure awareness. That's when I saw him. Jesus stood before me, but not as he's typically portrayed in religious art. His presence was simultaneously overwhelming and intimately familiar. He radiated a love so pure and powerful that I fell to my knees, or at least that was the sensation, though I had no physical form. His light was brighter than the tunnel had been, yet I could look directly at him without discomfort. His eyes held all the wisdom of the universe, but also an infinite compassion that made me feel completely known and completely loved. "Cordelia," he said, helping me to my feet, "there's something you need to see." His voice wasn't physical. It was more like pure thought being transmitted directly into my consciousness. With a gesture of his hand, the realm, the space around us, transformed.
I have always heard the same thing over and over again. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that. It's like not something or someone physical you see, but more of a, a form. So I want to throw that out there. I have heard that. Millie maybe can relate to that as well.
And I witnessed what I can only describe as the most shocking truth about what happens to souls after death. The realm we were in, which Jesus explained was the third heaven, was vast beyond comprehension. It wasn't bound by physical laws or dimensions as we know them. Instead, it seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, with different areas or states of being overlapping and interweaving with each other. This is not the final heaven, Jesus explained, but rather a transitional realm where souls come immediately after death. Think of it as a divine way station, a place of healing, learning, and preparation for what comes next. The realm was divided into different sections, each serving a specific purpose for the souls residing there. Jesus began showing me through each area, explaining their significance and the state of the souls within them. What I saw challenged everything I thought I knew about death and the afterlife. In the first section, which Jesus called the Gardens of Peace, I saw souls basking in what looked like golden light. They appeared to be in a state of profound rest and contentment. Many were engaged in what seemed like deep meditation or prayer, while others were in quiet contemplation of the beauty around them. The landscape itself was alive with colors and patterns that shifted and changed in response to the soul's thoughts and emotions. These are the souls who lived lives of love and service, Jesus explained. They rest here, growing in understanding and peace while awaiting the final resurrection. Their earthly lives were marked by kindness, compassion, and a genuine desire to help others. Now they experience the first fruits of their good works. I noticed that these souls seemed to glow with their own inner light, though some shone brighter than others. The brightness you see, Jesus said, answering my unspoken question, reflects the degree to which they allowed divine love to work through them during their earthly lives. Yet even now, they continue to grow brighter as they deepen their understanding and connection to divine love. But what truly shocked me was the second section, which Jesus called the Halls of Learning. Here, souls were actively engaged in what he called divine learning. The space was filled with what looked like amphitheaters of light.
Hey, Lock Lady, good to see you. She said, I saw my dad go into a dark tunnel in a bright light. He was directed to that bright light. He said when he got through the tunnel, there was no more light. Wow. Wow. You know, like I said, some people I've heard, you know, some people say they get upset because they come back, they see the bright light, and then they get almost to it, and then they're back in their body or woke up or whatever, however you want to call it. I don't know. Hi, Nana. Hello. Let's see. So I know what you're saying, Nana. I know what you're saying. You know, I've heard this all my life. No, I know, Nana. I'm talking to you. I know. I know. I was fixing to say I heard that all my life from my granny, from all them, from everybody. You know, I've heard stories from people to tell the same thing, Nana, the same thing over and over again. And I saw it on TV, and I believe you. I believe you. Again, who are we to judge any of that? Who are we? We don't know. We can't say that we know unless we were there. Did you check that case I sent you? I don't think I got it, Nana. You might have to send it again. Can you send it to me again? Send it to me again and I'll check it, okay? I'll check my spam too. I will check that, honey. I will definitely check it. I hadn't checked my mail. If you just sent an email recently, like in the last couple hours, I haven't checked it. So I'll check it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will check on it. I sure will. Yes, ma'am. You know I will for you. You absolutely know I will for you. So let's carry on.
Light, where newly arrived souls worked with more advanced beings, teachers of extraordinary wisdom and compassion. I watched as souls participated in life reviews, not as a judgment, but as a profound learning experience. They were able to see every action they had taken during their earthly lives, not just from their own perspective, but from the perspective of everyone their actions had affected. Every kind word, every selfless act, every moment of love sent ripples of light through the cosmos.
I'll check on it, honey.
Conversely, every harsh word, every selfish action, every moment of cruelty had created ripples of darkness. This is not about punishment, Jesus emphasized, seeing my concern for souls witnessing their mistakes. It's about understanding and growth. Every soul must see and understand the true impact of their choices to evolve and move forward. In one particularly moving scene, I watched a soul reviewing a moment when they had shown kindness to a stranger, giving some money to a homeless person. In the review, they could see how that single act had not only helped the recipient buy food that day, but had restored their faith in humanity. This restored faith had led them to seek help, eventually turning their life around and going on to help others. The ripple effects of that one kind act had influenced hundreds of lives over time. Conversely, I saw souls learning from their mistakes. One soul was reviewing a moment of anger where they had spoken cruelly to their child. They experienced not only their child's immediate pain, but saw how that moment had created a wound that affected their child's relationships and self-worth throughout their life.
Nana.
Yet even this difficult review was surrounded by love and understanding. The teachers helped the soul understand the root of their anger and how to heal both themselves and, from this realm, help heal those they had hurt. In another area of this realm, I saw something that brought tears to my eyes. Though again, they weren't physical tears. Souls were working together to help those still on earth. These are what humans often call guardian angels. Jesus explained that many are souls who have chosen to stay in this realm to help guide and protect those still living. I recognized my grandmother among them, looking exactly as she did in her prime, vibrant, full of life and love. She smiled at me, and suddenly I was flooded with understanding of how she had been helping to guide our family since her passing. She showed me countless moments where she had been present, sending love, guidance, and protection. I saw her comforting my mother during her battle with cancer, standing beside my brother during his wedding, and even helping.
Sometimes I gotta say, maybe the people that got to experience this is lucky because they got to experience that. I mean, how many of us would love to spend or see our loved ones just one more time, just one more minute? Just, there's that little saying, what would you say? What would you do? And maybe they can't say or do anything, but just to know or think, or it doesn't matter if it's all a dream, whatever. What would you give? Really, yeah. That just hit me. I would love, oh my God, I wish I could see my mom again. I wish I could see my grandma again. Those are the two right there, I wish. And I know so many people's in the same thing. She just said that. I'm like, there's those little memes and stuff we see. And, they're sitting side by side. And it's like, what would you say if you had 5 minutes? I have always said, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And again, I'm not here to preach, make no judgments whatsoever. I think this is interesting. I think it's an interesting subject, but I just thought, whoa, what she just said, how lucky was she? That's kind of lucky in a way. I don't know. That's just me. But I will say this, but it wasn't her time to go, right? That's the way I feel also. So she's here finishing out what she needs. And I've also heard, that sometimes you get that chance to come back and fix yourself. You have that chance to make new choices. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out there what I've heard. I'm just saying. So let's carry on. Sorry, y'all.
To guide my hands during particularly difficult moments in the emergency room. Every prayer is heard, my grandmother told me, her thoughts flowing directly into my consciousness. Every moment of need is known. We can't always prevent difficulties because challenges are necessary for growth, but we can send love, strength, and guidance. Sometimes we can even help prevent accidents or guide people to make better choices, though we must always respect free will. The most eye-opening part was witnessing what Jesus called the healing chambers. These weren't physical rooms, but rather, states of being where souls who had carried deep wounds from their earthly lives, trauma, addiction, anger, or fear, were being gently healed by beings of pure light. This is what human religions often misunderstand. Jesus said no soul is ever beyond redemption. Even those who live the darkest lives have the capacity for transformation. Love is the most powerful force in existence, and divine love can heal even the deepest wounds. I watched as souls who had done terrible things on earth underwent profound healing. It wasn't punishment, it was rehabilitation through pure love. These souls were facing the truth of their actions, feeling the full impact of the pain they had caused, but always supported by divine love and understanding. The process was intense, but always guided by compassion.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
The healing took different forms for different souls. Some needed to experience the consequences of their actions to fully understand the impact of their choices. Others needed to reconnect with the divine love they had shut out during their earthly lives. Still others needed to heal from their own trauma before they could begin to address the harm they had caused. Jesus showed me how souls communicate with each other in this realm, not through words, but through pure thought and emotion. I witnessed beautiful reunions between family members who had been separated by death. But these reunions transcended earthly relationships. Souls who had been enemies in life were reconciling, understanding the higher purpose of their earthly conflicts. Every interaction was based on pure truth. No lies or deception were possible in this realm. Time doesn't exist here as you know it. Jesus explained that what might seem like centuries of healing and growth can happen in what earth measures as moments. Every soul progresses at exactly the pace they need. The future. He then showed me something that challenged everything I thought I knew about death. In one area, more advanced souls were actually helping to create new realities. These souls have learned enough to assist in the divine act of creation itself. Jesus explained, I watched in awe as these beings worked with pure energy, helping to design new worlds, new life forms, and even helping to guide the evolution of existing planets. Earth is just one small school in a vast universe of learning, Jesus said. There are countless realms and dimensions where souls can grow and evolve. The physical universe you know is just the beginning. But then Jesus showed me something that broke my heart, an area where souls had chosen to remain in darkness. Unlike the other areas, this space felt cold and isolated. These souls, Jesus explained, have not yet chosen to accept love and healing. But watch closely. I saw beings of light continuously offering love to these souls, never giving up, never condemning. This is true divine love. Jesus said it never forces, never condemns, but also never gives up. Every soul, no matter how lost, will eventually find their way back to love. It's not a matter of if, but when. Jesus then revealed something crucial about Earth's current state. Humanity is at a turning point. He said the choices being made now will determine much about the future. But remember, free will is absolute. The future is not set in stone. He showed me potential futures, some beautiful beyond imagination, others deeply troubling. I saw a future where humanity had learned to live in harmony with each other and with nature, where technology was used for the benefit of all, where love and wisdom guided all decisions. But I also saw potential futures where humanity's choices led to great suffering and destruction. He said the key is love, not just abstract love, but love in action. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every choice for peace over conflict shapes not just the individual soul, but the collective future of humanity. Jesus then showed me something that filled me with awe, the interconnected web of all existence. I could see how every soul was connected to every other soul, how every action affected the whole, how love was the force that bound everything together. This is why forgiveness is so crucial, he explained. When you forgive others, you're also healing yourself and contributing to the healing of the whole universe. I saw how prayers and loving thoughts created actual patterns of light that affected the physical world. I watched as people on Earth sent prayers for their loved ones and saw how these prayers were received and answered by beings of light. Sometimes the answers came in unexpected ways, but no sincere prayer went unanswered. When Jesus told me it wasn't my time yet, he gave me a mission. Tell them what you've seen, he said. Tell them that death is not the end, that every soul continues its journey, that love is the most powerful force in existence and that no one is ever truly lost. Before I returned, Jesus shared one final truth that shook me to my core. He said, "The greatest illusion is the illusion of separation. All souls, all beings, all of creation is connected in ways your earthly minds can barely comprehend. The love you give to others, you give to yourself. The harm you do to others, you do to yourself." This is why forgiveness and love are so crucial. They are the forces that heal, not just individual souls, but the entire fabric of existence. He showed me how every act of love creates waves of light that ripple through all dimensions of reality, healing and uplifting everything they touch. Every kind word, every selfless gesture, every moment of compassion we extend to others sends out a vibration of light that permeates every layer of the universe. It has the power to heal wounds, mend broken spirits, and uplift those who may be struggling. These waves of love stretch far beyond what we can see, touching places we cannot fathom and beings we may never meet. They transcend time and space, crossing over boundaries that exist between the seen and unseen worlds. Conversely, acts of hatred and fear create darkness, thickening the air, clouding the heart, and causing ripples that distort the very fabric of existence. This darkness, however, is not something to fear, but something to transform. It is a challenge and a call to each of us. Can we transmute this darkness into light? Can we take the fear and hatred we encounter in this world and transform it into love and understanding? This is the great work of all souls, he explained to me. Learning to transform darkness into light, fear into love, and separation into unity. I was overwhelmed by this realization, and before I knew it, I felt myself being pulled back into the physical realm. It was as though the very universe itself was guiding me back to the world I knew. The last thing I heard before I returned to my body was Jesus' voice, calm and wise. Remember, love is not just a feeling, it's a choice. And it's a choice that must be made again and again in every moment. These words echoed in my mind as I gasped awake on the cold hospital floor, surrounded by my colleagues, who were working tirelessly to bring me back. The defibrillator had just delivered its third shock. According to the medical records, I had been clinically dead for 4 minutes and 52 seconds. But those minutes, though brief in the earthly sense, held an eternity of understanding that transformed everything I thought I knew about life and existence. Since that day, I've never been the same. The fear of death, which had once dominated my thoughts, melted away. I no longer saw death as an end, but as a transition, a part of the greater cycle of existence. I now value life even more deeply, recognizing how fragile and precious it truly is. Every moment is a gift, every encounter with another soul, an opportunity to express love, compassion, and understanding. I see every person as a soul on a journey, deserving of respect and kindness. They are not merely physical bodies, but travelers on an incredible journey of growth, learning, and transformation. I now understand that our time on Earth is not just a random accident, but a unique opportunity to learn and grow in ways that aren't possible in other realms. My work as a nurse has taken on new meanings since my experience. When I look at patients now, I don't just see their physical bodies and their ailments. I see their souls. I see their light, bright, and beautiful despite any outer circumstances, despite illness or suffering. I see the divine spark within them, the same spark that exists within all of us. Healing, I now understand, involves more than just treating the body. It is about healing the soul too. It is about helping people reconnect with their inner light, their sense of purpose, and the love that sustains them. Sometimes, when conditions are right, I can even sense the presence of the beings of light who help guide and comfort both patients and healthcare workers. These beings are not of this world, but they are always present, offering their support and guidance. I feel their gentle influence, their love, and their reassurance. It is as though they are helping us do our work with more compassion and understanding, reminding us that we are not alone and that we are part of a much greater plan. The most important truth I learned from my experience is this: what dead people are doing right now is far more beautiful and purposeful than most of us imagine. They are not just resting in peace. They are actively growing, learning, healing, and even helping to shape the future of existence itself. The work of these souls continues, not in the way we think of work on Earth, but in the form of spiritual growth, healing, and assisting in the evolution of the universe. The love that connects all souls never dies. It only grows stronger as we progress through the different realms of existence. I share this story not to convince anyone of a particular religious view, but to offer hope and understanding about the journey we're all on. Whether you believe in my experience or not, I hope you can take away this essential truth. Love is the force that moves the universe. Every act of love, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, ripples through eternity, making a difference in ways we cannot even comprehend. The dead are not gone. They are more alive than ever, participating in a grand process of cosmic evolution that we can barely comprehend from our earthly perspective. They continue to grow, to learn, and to contribute to the unfolding story of creation. One day, we will all understand this truth for ourselves. Our souls will experience it directly, and we will see that the love that binds all things together is the most powerful force in existence. Until that time comes, our task is simple but profound: to learn to love more deeply, to forgive more readily, and to live more fully. Every choice we make in this lifetime, every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every time we choose love over fear, shapes not just our own soul's journey, but the journey of all creation itself. And as we move through this life, let us remember that each moment is an opportunity to choose love, to light the darkness, and to contribute to the grand unfolding of the universe.
We definitely need more love, that's for sure. Again, I mean, that's her story. When we have more, we're gonna watch, but I mean, that's her story. And oops, sorry. That's her story. And a lot of people say the very same thing. I want to ask y'all, do you think how we live now affects what we see after death? What do y'all think about that? I think it does, of course. I mean, of course, in my opinion. But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to stay on the straight and narrow. I'm just saying, it is. Hearing, let me see. I'm sorry, I got to put it up here. Hearing this last sense to go. Oh, y'all are still talking about the brain. Yeah. That's what I heard. Hearing is the last sense to go as well. But I don't know. I don't know. I know that y'all were talking about the brain. That's what I thought. I thought the hearing was the last thing to go. So I don't know. It's something interesting. Have you ever had anybody in here, even if you come in on replay, I mean, write it in the chat. I mean, let me know. Have you had any kind of visions or anything unexplained or out of body experiences or kind of anything like this before? I was just saying what I read about that brain. Oh no, that's fine. I mean, again, how do we know anyway? I mean, we don't know unless we've been there. I mean, we don't know. It's all one big mystery. That's the whole thing of it. And it is one big mystery. I don't feel like there's no right or wrong answers in here. Again, I'm not here to judge anybody, not for what you think, not for what you feel, what you don't feel. I'm not here for that. I just thought, again, this will be very interesting. We're going to watch one about hell in a minute. I have to be honest, I didn't watch that one, so we're going to watch that one together. I pulled it, and I didn't watch any of that one because I was scared if I watched it, I wouldn't put it up. So that part. But let me see what y'all are saying. Last sense hearing, yeah. Not me. I would not be here now but for the grace of God. Absolutely. And I think, again, that's just my opinion. I think that's the way all of us, for the same for all of us. We are all here by the grace of God, whether you believe in him or you don't. I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you. And you need coffee type host. Girl, did you take your nap today? Raymond said, I try my best because I want to be with my dad and my sister again. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, especially when people go before you, it changes a person. It does. And you want to be with them again. And that's what you're told. And, I don't care what nobody says. It don't matter. I'm not a Bible thumper or, I'm not going to sit here and say I read my Bible daily and do this and do that. I should probably. I should change a lot of things about myself, honestly. I don't have no room to really judge anybody. But one thing I have believed in since I was old enough to believe, and now to this day, is, the Bible. And I have a problem with, I don't know how to throw them away. I don't want to throw them away when I get a new one. If something's wrong, somebody knows how to, I could Google it, I guess, but it's just a thing with me. It's, I believe what I believe. You didn't get your nap today. You did your chores today. But yeah, both of my parents are ordained ministers. So I was raised in a church. So God was a big part of my life. Yeah. And I mean, we all, I can't speak for nobody else. I'm just going to say, I still every day I have questions. And it's, you're curious about all people, all faith, all religions, all things. I am. I hate to say this because we all know it's true, but if anybody's in here, they're going to probably but when they come knocking from Jehovah's Witness, let's just use them for example. Okay. Nothing against you. I'm just saying nobody wants to go to the door. Okay. They don't like it because they come out and they be knocking on the door and stuff. Now you might be my best friend in here and you might be a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. It's fine. All I'm saying is for years, that's what you were, they don't believe the same thing. They don't want to ever, whatever. Well, let me tell you something. After several years ago, I invited them in my house. Come on in, sit down. There was this cute little lady. She was real old with the bun in her hair. And I had her come back. I don't know. Now, did it turn me into a Jehovah's Witness? No. Did it, whatever? No. But I wanted answers. I wanted answers from somebody who was going to sit down and talk to me. And she did. But maybe that was on only her faith. But she tried her best to explain everything that she could that I wanted answered in the privacy of my own home. And that's what I wanted. I just don't think we can judge. That. Again, I have questions every day. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. You hear people talk about, the Baptist this, the Baptist that. That's exactly what I grew up, Baptist. I was in church every time the doors open, but you know what? I failed quite a few times. I will tell y'all something. Y'all gonna say, Smiley, I can believe it. I'm gonna tell y'all. I was baptized as a little girl. And when I was baptized in the church, the first thing, the church didn't fall down. But as soon as I got out of that water, I was shaking in my mom and them's arms, and I got pneumonia, and I thought I was going to die in the church. And then I had to go in the hospital and blah, 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 blah. That's a true story. So when they say the church might fall if you come, that's a true story. I mean, well, that's something I can tell you. I went years later to the Billy Graham Crusade with the church group. They come, matter of fact, we was in Nashville. Millie's like, I'm going to tell y'all stories. So we used to always go on trips. We would go to the mountains. This is when I was growing up. When I was growing up and I lived in Nashville, we always would go on weekenders, and we come down here to Panama City. And, okay, so one time we come down here to Panama City. I swear before Jesus, I'm not lying. Thank God it wasn't no 2-story or nothing. It was just whatever. Smiley falls out of a window. I fell out of a window. I backed out of a window. Okay. So that's the second time something bad happened to me when I went to church. The next thing was when we went to the Billy Graham Crusade, me and my best friend, we did everything together. And me and my best friend. Now, you ready for this one, Millie? Because this is the last one, and I saved the best for last. Go to the Billy Graham Crusade, and I was in my teens. Go down and get a hot dog. Lord, go get Annabelle and them. The hot dog. Go down and get the hot dog, honey. And they used to have these metal hot dog machines. Well, they still do, I guess. I don't know. I hadn't seen one in forever and a day. But I leaned my arm up against it at the counter, and it burnt my arm. Like, all the skin came off and everything. So I got like 3rd-degree burns or something. I'm like, I didn't know if the devil was chasing me out of church or whatever. So no, I am not trying to be funny. I don't go to church all the time, but I believe, and I don't believe you had to have go in the church, a building, to believe what you believe. But yeah, that was always something bad happening to me when I went to church, but it didn't stop me. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm not saying that because I went to church. I'm just saying that was just little things. But yeah. But we all have questions, but I believe these people. I don't doubt these people. I don't doubt these people one bit. And I think we can all learn something, and I think we can all just live better. Now, just being a good person is not going to get you in heaven if that's what you believe. Believe what you want, but you got to be a good person. If you hear it, don't hurt, right? I believe we are the church. Right, exactly. We are the church. It's nice to go, and I like to go once in a blue moon. I like to find a smaller church. But again, it's a habit. I think we all need to get off of YouTube and go to church, but that's just me. That's just me, honestly. But I ain't here to preach. I ain't here to preach at all. I'm no holy roller. Let's just say that. So just saying. Yeah, he never had 4 walls. He sure didn't. And, we all learn. But I think what this lady was saying, as well as when she first come out, everybody gets that chance. Some people are sent back. That's what I told y'all before I even played that and knew what she's going to say all the way through. Some people are sent back for reasons. They're not finished here. And it may be something spectacular they need to do here for themselves or somebody else. But it may be just their self. They need to either change, change their thinking or whatever. Just saying. So, but anyway, I'm not preaching. Let's go on. Because I get on a roll here, honey. We ain't no telling what ain't no telling what we'll get on. We don't need no more Billy Graham stories, okay? They will have no purpose, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I mean, it's like you get a choice. You either that's what I'm and you come back. Everybody, that's why I feel everybody has a choice. And if you're like I just said, this lady, in a way that seemed kind of lucky. Seems kind of lucky. Yeah, I'm not preachy, okay? All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Hold on. Let's just get to another one. Stop it, Smiley.
I woke up in hell. Immediately when I woke up, I knew that that's where I was, because it's the most intense pain and confusion, and you're on fire. Everybody around you is screaming in pain, because that's why they say gnashing of teeth, because
Might be
everybody's just
trigger
in pain,
warning on this
screaming,
for some. I don't
and
know.
everybody's on fire.
Well, welcome to Ignite Fire Testimonies. We have Junior Daniel here today, and he has an amazing testimony where he actually died on the scene of an accident and went to hell and came back, and he's going to tell us about that today. So welcome to the show here, Junior. We're happy to have you, and please take it away. So if you just want to start off and just let us know a little bit about yourself and your upbringing, and kind of lead us
I
up
don't know if this is the
to,
one my
when
mom
this
saw or
accident
not. She's telling
happened
me
and
about
when you
one
had
that's
this encounter
terrible. I
with
hope
God.
this is not it, but anyway.
Well, growing up, I
God.
grew up from a divorced family, broken home, and I started partying in high school, and I got carried away with drugs and alcohol. Ended up selling drugs and hanging around a lot of bad people. And for a while, it was just partying and doing my own thing. And then eventually it progressed to selling drugs. And then eventually I was hanging around people that were stealing things and hurting other people. It's just a bad situation. My worst experience was I was on a high-speed chase with police officers. I borrowed a truck from somebody. I knew it was stolen. And I was with some lady, and apparently she belonged like the Aryan Brotherhood or something. So it was like it's like a high-ranking person's daughter or something like that, an Aryan Brotherhood. So I was a little worried. I thought like I was going to go to prison and get killed for this. So, and so when the cop tried to pull me over, I ran and went into oncoming traffic, and I let the car roll and into a wall. And then we took off running, and the helicopters and everybody chased me, and they caught me in someone's backyard, beat me up pretty bad, probably deserved it. And then I was in jail, and then, and God saw me out of all of it.
Welcome.
Yeah, a lot of encounters, and this was truly like full-time life for you. You didn't have a job.
I just
The
sold
streets.
drugs and was on the streets. When I was on drugs, I was too embarrassed. I don't know, too embarrassed or too caught up to go home to be around family. So it was a different life. I just lived on the streets and did my thing that way. So I was really lost. When you're on drugs, it's almost like you're possessed. You're a different person. So.
And did you have attempts to get free from that outside of God? What kind of help did you seek, or did you have any freedom at all, or was it just full on?
I've been to 20 rehabs before that, halfway houses, but none of them helped. Been to jail, rehab, intense probation, tent city for 10 months. The only reason I didn't go to prison is my dad kept paying for lawyers. So that, and through the grace of God, some of the charges are dropped, like a dangerous drug charge, and just different things like that. So the morning of 2002 on Valentine's Day, I was on my way to go shoot some people that had beat me up and ripped me off really bad. So God, I feel like God intervened. We were driving and a car hit us and flipped us over several times. And me and one of my friends, we both were ejected. He was killed, and they revived me at the scene. And I was in a coma for over a week.
God.
And when I died, it was just like I woke up in hell, and it was awful. It was just like billions of people screaming in agony, and it was just like you're on fire. And I was actually there. It wasn't like I was dreaming or like um, it was real.
Did you like when you woke up in hell? Did you know where you were immediately? You knew where you were. This is definitely hell, or was it like I'm in hell? You just
Immediately when I woke up, I knew that that's where I was because it's the most intense pain and confusion, and you're on fire. Everybody around you is screaming in pain because that's why they say gnashing of teeth, because everybody's just in pain, screaming, and everybody's on fire. So you're just burning alive. Everybody is, and you just see faces around you. Everybody's screaming, and it was bad.
we hear a lot of people that, and not a lot of people, but some people, we've heard their testimonies of going to heaven with Jesus, incredible encounters in the spirit, and also going to hell and other spiritual encounters. And sometimes people, they're communicating and saying that, these experiences, they feel bigger than, more real than the life that we live now. What would you say about that? Was there any difference from your flesh and what you know as reality to this other reality that you were experiencing?
I can't really explain it. It's just you're on fire and everybody's screaming with pain. That's just, you just see faces and people screaming in pain, and you just feel like you're on fire, and it's never going to end.
How did you know that it was never going to end? Was it you felt like in condemnation and that this is your rightful place, or
Because I just felt trapped. I felt like I was just there, and I felt like I was there for a long time. It didn't feel like I was just there for a couple seconds. I felt like I was there for a long time.
did you have a sense of time still, or was it
No, I wasn't sure if I was there for 5 minutes, an hour, a week. I don't know. I didn't know anything. I just know when I woke up, they said I was in a coma for a week. So,
so it could have been a while?
I could have been there for 5 days. I could have, they say time is different in heaven or hell.
Wow.
So this is the car that hit us. And this is what the truck looked like afterwards.
Well, tell us when you were in.
I was going to say to Army vet, if he's still in here. Now, this is one I would not want to experience. Nope, don't want to experience it. I can't imagine. And that's why I don't even want to, I just wouldn't want to take a chance. I just don't want to experience it. Nobody needs to tell me twice about that. I don't want to. I don't want to. And him saying, I've heard that people, and I don't know if it's going to come up in this one or not, because again, I didn't watch this one because I was scared I wouldn't put it up. My mom told me one time she watched one about this, and they were like just chained and couldn't get no water and nothing to drink ever, and it felt like forever and ever and ever. And I don't know what's going on with Donna. I would love to become a member, but I don't know how much. Donna, oh my God, honey. I didn't know. Prayers to you. Prayers to you, Donna. Oh my God, my heart just dropped. Donna, we love you over here. Absolutely. May God wrap his arms around you. Oh my, Donna, I didn't know. We love you, Donna. Any prayers to you?
In hell, you woke up. You said you prayed to the Lord. Can you tell us a little bit more about
Yeah, it was
what the
really
prayer
intense.
was?
I was just on fire and it was just burning and I didn't know what to do. I was just panicked and just out of my mind. And the first thing I thought of, because I already knew Jesus, I'd been to church before with my dad. I just never, I guess I accepted Jesus, but I never really followed. I just knew it was true, but I lived my own way. And so the first thing I did was I asked Jesus for forgiveness, and I asked him if he would just help me wake up from everything, that I would change my life. That I wouldn't be the same. And I woke up in the hospital bed, and I couldn't move, but I was still happy because I wasn't in hell anymore. So I didn't even care if I was paralyzed. And everybody was praying for me. They were crying because I had a blood hemorrhage, and they thought I was going to die from the blood hemorrhage. And I fell asleep, and I woke up the next day, and the blood hemorrhage stopped, and that was it. I just stopped doing everything. I never drank anything. I never smoked again, and just my life changed. So I've lived for God ever since.
That's incredible. So when you came back and you had your recovery, what kind of encounters did you have since then? What kind of experience and relationship did you have with God once you came back and decided to serve him?
Well, I went to a program called Teen Challenge, and that was really, really good place. I really learned a relationship with God and Jesus, and they kind of teach you a new way to live again, how to like work and be a functioning person in society and a good Christian. And so I've spent a lot of time there. And then when I got out, I got married, and we had a son, and he had kidney problems, and he almost died. He had congenital nephrotic syndrome, so his kidneys didn't work. So we spent like the first year at the hospital, and he almost passed away several times. That was really rough, and I wouldn't let the doctors operate to take out his kidneys to do dialysis because I thought God was going to heal him, but sometimes God is reaching out to help and we're not listening. So I think that God sent the doctors to help me, and I wasn't listening. So I changed my mind and said, okay, let's operate. And they took out his kidneys, we did dialysis, and my mom gave him a kidney, and it saved his life. So I thank God for that too. And also when I was in Teen Challenge, they prophesied over me. Then they said I was going to be father to the fatherless. And apparently I had a daughter that was
Donna, I'm
12
so sorry.
that I didn't know about. So that
So
was a trip
sorry,
that
Donna.
if someone prophesied and said I was going to be father to the fatherless, and I had a daughter out there that didn't have a dad. So
Walk us through that. How did you come to know, and how did you meet her, and what was that experience?
I had a friend that called me and was telling me he thinks I have a kid. And so then I reached out to the person that talked to him, and then did a DNA test, and I talked to her. But before we did the DNA test, she looks just like me. So I kind of knew that it was going to be my kid. And so she started coming to stay with me, and I was trying to help
Don't worry
her
about them. I'm
finish
not.
school, and we take her to church, and her whole family had problems with drugs. Most everybody's in
We
my family is
forgive
drug
them
addicts
for
in
they have
jail and different
sinned.
things.
Okay.
She's the only
Um,
person out of all her siblings and family that are successful. And she says that she thanks me and my dad because we took her to church and, showed her a different way to live. So she lives with me back and forth. She believes in Jesus now, and she lives in Ohio, but she's a good person. So she has good morals, and she believes in Jesus. So I'm thankful that I got to meet her and got to help her. That was a blessing in my life also. And I just thank God every day. I mean, it was a horrible life to live that way. And anybody that's on drugs, you can change. God can help you.
Millie's got that trigger
God can
finger.
change anybody. He can change me. He can change you. Don't wait until you go to hell or until you die and it's over. You won't have another chance. So
What kind of steps would you say that, say you're speaking to yourself right now?
That's what I'm talking about. Just what he just said. See, don't wait till you die because you won't have another chance. And that's what I'm always saying. I'd rather be safe than sorry, right? Be too late then. But that's just my thoughts. But he just said it. And you don't want to be burning. I know I sure as hell don't. So he just said it. He just said it. Wow. He's right. Don't wait till it's too late.
Now, what kind of steps would that person need to take to really have an encounter with God and have their life change? What would you say that they should do?
just accept Jesus and start living for him, and find a foundation and really just pray. Praying is the biggest thing, and fellowshipping with people about Jesus and helping others. And really the biggest thing is just helping others, showing love. That's what Jesus wants us to do. If you walk in love, then everything's going to fall in place. You're going to help other people. You're going to live the right life. Everything, love is perfect. So if you walk in love, it's what God wants.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Junior.
I'm glad to be back. It's not my story, it's God's story. I just want to tell everybody to please, if you're not saved, to get saved. I've been praying for people for 20 years. I have a list of people that need to be, they were having problems with drugs and life problems, and
Hey, Panda
everybody on
Bear's
the list, it
mom,
was
good
like
to see
probably
you,
20
honey.
people that have all been delivered and saved. It kind of just makes me feel like we're coming to the end, like God's gathering all his people. So it's really time to change and accept Jesus before it's too late. You don't want to end up where I was.
Thank you for coming in. We appreciate your
God
testimony.
bless you guys.
Wow, I think that's so interesting. Oh, Millie, thank you. Millie gifted a membership. Let's see. What we got? I keep moving my bell. Ring my bell. Thank you, Millie. Millie gifted a membership. Whoever got that, please thank Millie. That was so kind of you, Millie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And hello, Panda Bear's mom. The bushes are okay. The bushes are fine. Oh, Raymond, thank you. Thank you. Woo, woo. Raymond gifted another membership. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you. I love y'all. Y'all are so supportive and so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you to you all, to both of you. Thank you very, very, very much. Love you. Whoever got those memberships, Millie and Raymond gave a membership out. So there you go. Oh my God, what is going on Panda Bear's mom? Tell me what's going on. We're not finished here, but I got time for you. What's going on, honey? Did Panda Bear's mom, did you see that in Facebook? I don't know if you saw it or not. Did you see that in Facebook where they thought Devlin, that picture of Devlin Easter? Did you see that in that group? What do you think about that? And please tell me you're okay and what's going on. Oh, you wanted Donna to get one? Yeah. It's random. It's random. I know. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's in a Facebook group and it has a picture. It looks just like him. And I don't know. I don't know how to Photoshop or any of that. So I don't know if it's Photoshop, but somebody was talking about, and it looked like it was a picture of him Easter time, had a shirt on and pants. I'll have to send it to you. And then there was a long thing and it said something about an Easter picture. I didn't send it because I thought maybe you or somebody that was doing it was on it, but I'm gonna see. I'll send it to you. But tell me what's wrong, what's going on with you. Congratulations, the amazing Tiff. Congratulations. She got one. I don't know who else, but at Mindful Moments 1968. Hello. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Welcome in to you. Welcome in, everybody. Ghana, we love you. I hope you're okay, Panda Bear's mom. I hope you're okay. Let's see. I got another one here. I don't know if it's the same one, so I'll take this down just in case. I can't remember. And then I'll just put it up after. Hold on just a minute. Let's see. This one's a little bit longer. Give me just a second here.
My name is Monica James, and this is something I never imagined I'd share, but I have to, because it changed me forever. It all happened on July 1st, 2018. I remember that day like it was yesterday, clear skies, the kind of warmth that makes you feel alive, and yet deep down, I felt like I was running on empty. Life had been hard for a while. I'd been battling health issues that left me exhausted most days, and the weight of loneliness pressed heavily on my chest. I wasn't angry with God or anything like that. I just felt lost, like I was going through the motions without
I'm sorry,
really living.
baby. That's
But then
sad.
came that moment when everything
I'm
shifted.
sorry.
I won't sugarcoat it. It was terrifying at first. 1 minute I was in the hospital room, surrounded by beeping machines and anxious voices. And the next, I was somewhere else entirely. I don't know how else to explain it. I felt like I had
You
slipped
email
out of
me
my
if you want
body,
to, okay?
watching from above as doctors worked frantically to save me. The confusion was overwhelming, but there was also a strange peace. I didn't want to leave, not really, but I couldn't deny the pull of something greater. So here I am, standing before you, sharing this story because I believe it's important. What I experienced during those 3 days after death isn't just a tale. It's a message, a reminder that our souls matter more than we can comprehend. So please listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you might change your life too. I remember the pain more than anything else. It started as a dull ache in my chest, like pressure building behind my ribs, but it quickly escalated into something unbearable. I was lying in the hospital bed, hooked up to wires and monitors, struggling to catch my breath. Nurses were moving around me, talking fast, trying to reassure me even though I could see the worry in their eyes. Someone said my heart was failing. Something about arrhythmia, maybe? I wasn't thinking clearly anymore. My vision blurred, my limbs felt heavy, and every heartbeat sounded like a distant drumbeat fading into silence. Then suddenly there was no pain, no heaviness, just quiet. I felt myself lift, like I was floating upward, weightless. I looked down and saw my body, pale, still, barely breathing, and I realized what had happened. I was dead. That thought should have terrified me, but instead, I felt a strange calm settle over me. There was no panic, no fear, just awareness. I was no longer bound to my physical form, and somehow, that made perfect sense. I wanted to call out, to let someone know I was still here, but I couldn't speak. I couldn't move the way I used to. I was simply there, hovering above my own lifeless body, watching as the medical team tried in vain to bring me back. At first, I couldn't make sense of what I was seeing, or rather, what I was being. It was like waking up from a dream, only to realize you're still dreaming. I floated above my body, watching the nurses rush around me, shouting numbers and commands, pressing down on my chest in a desperate attempt to restart my heart. I
That's
wanted to
what
tell them I was
my
fine,
cousin
that I wasn't
vibed
suffering
out of
anymore,
body.
but I couldn't reach them. My voice was gone. My body was gone. All I had was this new, untethered existence. And yet, despite the strangeness of it all, I wasn't afraid. If anything, I felt lighter, like a weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying had been lifted. I looked around the hospital room, noticing details I would have missed before. The flickering fluorescent lights, the faint scent of antiseptic in the air, the quiet hum of machines working tirelessly to keep people alive. But none of it mattered to me now. I wasn't part of that world anymore. Then, I felt a gentle presence beside me. Not a person, not in the way I understood people, but something warm and reassuring. A being of light, soft, radiant, and full of love. I didn't need words to understand it. Somehow, I knew I wasn't alone. This presence wrapped around me like a comforting embrace, filling me with peace. I didn't ask questions, and I didn't need to. I just was, and I was safe. As I stood there, still absorbing the reality of what had happened, time seemed to stretch and blur. I had always thought death would be an instant transition, blackness 1 second, heaven or hell the next, but that wasn't how it was. Instead, I remained in a state of heightened awareness, caught between two worlds. I could see everything happening around my body. The nurse's frantic efforts, the doctor calling time of death, my family rushing into the room with tear-streaked faces. But I couldn't interact with any of it. I was a silent observer, watching life continue without me. It was surreal. I wanted to comfort my mother, who collapsed.
You know, I have always wondered if, and they say, and it says in the Bible, like I said, that's the book, that's the book I go by. And it says no more sorrow and no more pain. But I've just personally always wondered if, like what she's sitting here describing, okay, I, I always wondered, like, if after you die, so like you can see everything that goes on as far as all the way through, like your funeral, the whole burial, everybody that comes in and out, hear, see all that. And that's just a question I've always had that, of course, I can't get a solid answer on because we don't know. We don't know. We only hear what we are being told. And now she's talking about she's seen her mother collapse and she wanted to pick her up but couldn't, and all the things. So that is something that have always wondered. But anyway, I will carry on.
Beside my bed, sobbing uncontrollably. I wanted to hug my best friend, Sarah, who kept whispering, "No, no, no," like saying it enough would bring me back. I wanted to tell my little brother, Daniel, that I was okay, that he didn't have to be scared. But I couldn't. My voice was gone. My hands, once capable of holding others close, were useless now. I was here, but I was no longer there.
Yeah,
And
I
then the
like
realization
these
hit me.
educational
This was real. I wasn't dreaming.
stuff.
I wasn't unconscious. I had truly died. The finality of it sent a shiver through my soul. If I even had a soul in the way I used to understand it. I wasn't sure what I was anymore, only that I existed beyond my body, beyond the physical world I had known my entire life. The presence beside me, the being of light, remained steady, unwavering. It didn't push me forward or pull me away. It simply stayed with me, offering comfort in a moment where everything felt uncertain. I didn't know where I was going or what would happen next, but I knew I wasn't alone. As the moments passed, though I couldn't tell if they were minutes, hours, or something else entirely, I became aware of other presences around me. At first, they were just shadows at the edges of my vision, vague figures lingering near the walls of the hospital room. But as my awareness sharpened, I began to see them more clearly. Some were familiar, faces I recognized from my past. Others were strangers, their expressions unreadable, their forms shifting like mist. One of them stepped forward, an older man, his face lined with kindness, his eyes filled with sorrow. He looked at me with such tenderness that tears welled up in my own eyes, though I wasn't sure if I could cry anymore. "You're not ready to stay," he said softly, his voice like a whisper carried on the wind. "There's still work for you to do." I wanted to ask him what he meant, who he was, why I was still lingering in this strange space between life and death. But before I could, another figure appeared beside him. This one was younger, dressed in a white robe that shimmered like sunlight on water. Their presence radiated peace, and as soon as they looked at me, I felt my fears begin to ease. "You're safe," they said, their voice both firm and gentle. "You've crossed the threshold, but your journey isn't finished." I turned my gaze back to my body, still lying motionless on the hospital bed. My family was gathered around it now, some kneeling in prayer, others sobbing quietly. I wanted so badly to reach out to them, to let them know I was still me, that I was still here. But I couldn't. I was untouchable, unseen. "Can't they hear me?" I asked, my voice trembling. The young figure shook their head. "Not yet, but they will feel you. They will carry your love with them." That answer didn't satisfy me completely, but it was enough to keep me from panicking again. I took a deep breath, even though I no longer needed to breathe, and focused on staying calm. The older man gestured toward the door of the hospital room. "Come," he said. "There's more for you to see." I hesitated, glancing once more at my family. Would they be okay without me? Would they grieve forever? But the presence beside me gave me a gentle nudge, urging me forward. And so I followed them. As I stepped through the hospital doors, the world around me shifted. It was like walking into a different dimension, one that was both familiar and utterly foreign. The sterile smell of antiseptic faded, replaced by something indescribable, something clean and pure, like the air after a summer rain. The sounds of the hospital, the beeping monitors, the hushed voices, the rolling footsteps, faded into silence. And yet, I wasn't deaf. I could hear things now that I had never noticed before. A soft hum, almost musical, vibrating through the very fabric of existence. The two beings walked beside me, neither hurried nor hesitant. We moved through corridors that weren't quite corridors, spaces that weren't quite rooms. There was no ceiling above us, no defined boundaries, just a vast openness that stretched infinitely in every direction. Yet, I didn't feel lost. I felt guided. We arrived at a place that looked like a crossroads. There were paths stretching in every direction, some glowing with a golden light, others dim and shadowed. People's souls, I assumed, stood in clusters, some looking confused, others serene. Some wandered aimlessly, while others were led gently by beings like the ones beside me. I turned to the older man. "Where are they going?" He studied me for a moment before answering. "Some are waiting. Others are preparing for what comes next." I swallowed hard. "And what does come next?" The younger being spoke then, their voice calm. "Each soul follows the path they chose long ago. Some find peace immediately. Others take longer to understand where they belong." A chill ran through me, though I wasn't sure if I could actually feel cold anymore. What happens if someone doesn't belong anywhere good? The older man's expression darkened slightly. They find themselves in places where the light grows faint, places where regret lingers. I shivered at his words. I had heard sermons about heaven and hell, about judgment and eternity. But this was different. This wasn't doctrine. This was reality. Before I could ask another question, the younger being placed a hand on my shoulder. "You aren't meant to stay here long," they said gently. "Your time hasn't fully come." "But I'm already dead," I whispered. "Yes," the older man agreed. "But death is not the end. It's only the beginning." The moment I stepped further into this realm, I felt a shift within me. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing truths I had spent my entire life ignoring. The presence beside me, both the older man and the younger being, guided me forward, and suddenly, I was no longer walking through the crossroads. Instead, I found myself standing in a vast, open space, surrounded by light that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Then the images came. At first, they were fleeting, fragments of memories, small moments from my life flashing before me like scenes in a film. But then they slowed, sharpened, and I was no longer just watching. I was inside them. I saw myself as a child, sitting in Sunday school, doodling in the margins of my Bible lesson book while the teacher talked about forgiveness. I remembered how I had rolled my eyes when she told us that Jesus forgave everyone, even those who hurt him. Back then, I didn't understand why anyone would choose mercy over revenge. Now, standing in this place of truth, I wished I had listened more carefully. Another memory surfaced. I was in high school, standing in the hallway with a group of friends, laughing at someone who had tripped and fallen. I remembered the way my stomach twisted afterward, knowing I had been cruel, but I had convinced myself it was just a joke. Now, watching that version of myself from above, I felt shame burn through me. I had hurt someone, and I had never apologized. More memories flooded my mind. Times I had chosen selfishness over generosity, times I had ignored the needs of others because I was too preoccupied with my own struggles. I saw the pain I had caused without realizing it, the ways my actions had rippled outward in ways I had never considered. And yet, amid the regret, there were moments of light. I saw myself helping an elderly neighbor carry groceries, holding my younger cousin's hand when they were scared, praying for a friend who was going through a difficult time. These memories brought
I do
warmth to
too,
my soul,
Millie. I sure do.
reminding me that I had done good things too. A voice broke through the flood of thoughts. You see now what you could not see before. I turned to the younger being, who was watching me with calm understanding. This is the review, they explained. Every soul experiences it. You are shown the truth of your choices, not to condemn you, but to reveal what shaped your spirit. I swallowed hard. So, everything matters? Everything, the older man confirmed. Even the smallest act of kindness, the briefest moment of compassion, it leaves an imprint on eternity. I looked down at my hands, or what I assumed were my hands. They shimmered slightly, as if reflecting the memories I had just relived. But what about the bad things? I asked hesitantly. The things I wish I could take back. The younger being smiled gently. That is why grace exists. Mercy is offered to all who seek it, but you must choose to accept it. I nodded slowly, the weight of their words settling deep within me. I had spent years believing that God's forgiveness
That's
was
what I
automatic,
believe. Boom.
that as
boom,
long as I
boom.
believed in Jesus, I was saved. And maybe that was true. But standing here, facing the undeniable truth of my own life, I understood something I hadn't before. Salvation wasn't just about belief. It was about transformation. It was about choosing to live differently, to love more, to give more, to forgive more. As the last of the memories faded, the presence beside me shifted. The younger being extended a hand. There is more to see, they said softly. Come. As I followed the younger being through the luminous expanse, I became aware of other souls around me. Some drifting silently, others engaged in quiet conversations. They weren't like the guides who accompanied me. These were spirits who lingered, uncertain, waiting for something they couldn't name. Some looked peaceful, while others wore expressions of longing or regret. We approached a gathering of souls seated in a circle, their forms flickering like candlelight. As I drew closer, I recognized one of them. An old woman with kind eyes and silver hair, someone I had seen in my childhood church. She looked up as we approached, her face lighting up with recognition. Monica, she said warmly. You've come far. I blinked in surprise. Do I know you? She chuckled softly. You may not remember me, but I remember you. I used to sit near the back of the sanctuary, knitting during sermons. You always waved at me, even when no one else did. A wave of emotion washed over me. I didn't recall her specifically, but I remembered the feeling she described. The small, instinctive gestures of kindness I sometimes extended without thinking. She gestured for me to sit beside her, and I obeyed, lowering myself onto the soft, glowing surface beneath us. The other souls watched me with curiosity, some nodding in greeting, others simply observing. They're waiting, the younger being explained, standing beside me. Some for guidance, some for clarity, some for permission to move forward. I glanced at the old woman. Move forward where? She smiled gently. To where we belong. I frowned. You mean heaven? Her smile remained, but there was a sadness in her eyes. Some of us are ready, others not yet. A man across from me spoke up, his voice low and thoughtful. It's not always about whether we're good enough. It's about whether we're willing to let go. I tilted my head. Let go of what? He sighed, folding his hands in his lap. Of pride, of resentment, of the lies we told ourselves while we were alive. He glanced at the others. Some of us held on to things that kept us from truly surrendering to grace. I felt a pang in my chest. How many times had I clung to my own stubbornness? How often had I refused to admit fault, even when I knew I was wrong? The old woman reached out and placed a hand over mine, though I couldn't feel it. Don't be afraid, she said softly. You still have time to change. I swallowed hard, my throat tight. What happens to those who aren't ready? The younger being answered this time. They remain here until they are. Some for a short while, some for much longer. I looked around.
Panda Bear's mom, thank you. I want to acknowledge that. Thank you so much for your super chat. Let's see what it says. Devlin's mom, Jessica, signed and I approved. All set for United Cajun Navy to come to Lake Odessa and search for Devlin Lee Hatfield Tate. Woo! Yay! Yay! Thank goodness. Thank goodness, Panda Bear's mom. I'm so happy about that. And listen, you don't pay any attention to what others say or do. You do you, and you do what you do for these kids. What you have done for Devlin this entire time alone is more than enough. You're doing everything you can, and thank you. Believe me, it's noticed. Trust me. And I'm sorry whoever made you feel that way. Whoever made you feel that way. You know, God knows, and the important people know. That's all that matters. Thank you for your super chat, and thank you so much for keeping on with Devlin's name. I know we can't all do everybody's all the time, but you're there for Devlin every time. Thank you for that.
At the waiting souls, and for the first time, I understood that death was not an instant verdict. It was a process, a reckoning that unfolded in its own time. The old woman leaned closer. "Tell them," she whispered. "Tell the living what you've seen. Let them know that their choices matter, that they matter." I nodded, my heart swelling with purpose. I didn't know how long I would be here, but I knew one thing for certain. When I returned, if I returned, I would never look at life the same way again. As I sat among the waiting souls, a shift in the atmosphere made my entire being tense. It was subtle at first, a change in the light, a hush that settled over the space like the pause before.
You know, I'm sorry to keep stopping, but I do want to say this, and I want to get it out. I just have to say stuff when it's on my mind. Panda Bear's mom. Trust and believe, honey. People see not just you, but people see people that are really in it for children and really, really have the hearts and care. And people see the ones when it's just convenient or when it's paydays. We see that. We don't go run and talk about it when it's this, that, and the other or whatever to make content or whatever. But listen, you've been strong and you have been there the entire time. It just hurts my heart that somebody made you feel that way, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Before a storm. Then the presence beside me, the younger being, turned toward me with an expression I couldn't quite decipher. "It is time," they said gently. I swallowed hard. Time for what? The older man stepped forward, his gaze solemn. "You must decide. Will you return, or will you move forward?" The words hit me like a tidal wave. Return. Move forward? I hadn't even considered that I had a choice. I thought my fate was already sealed, that whatever awaited me beyond this place was inevitable. But now, standing at the precipice of eternity, I realized the decision rested in my hands. I looked around, searching for answers in the faces of the waiting souls. Some watched me with quiet hope, others with wistfulness, as if remembering the days when they too had stood at this crossroads. The old woman gave me a small, encouraging nod. I turned back to the younger being. "If I move forward, what happens?" Their expressions softened. "You will enter into the fullness of eternity. You will be free from pain, from doubt, from regret. You will be whole." I felt my breath hitch. It sounded beautiful, peaceful. But then the older man spoke again. "And if you return?" The younger being met my eyes. "Then you will return to your body. You will wake up in the world of the living, and you will have a chance to live differently. A chance. The word echoed in my soul. I had spent my life making mistakes, clinging to pride, letting fear dictate my choices. I had wasted so much time. But if I went back, I could change. I could make better choices. I could love deeper, forgive more freely, live with purpose. I glanced at the waiting souls again, and I saw something in their eyes, longing, regret. Some of them had run out of time, but I hadn't. Tears welled up in my eyes as I turned to the beings before me. I want to go back. The older man inclined his head. Then you must prepare. Before I could ask what he meant, the world around me began to shift. The light brightened, the space trembled, and I felt a force pulling me backward, toward the world I had left behind. The pull was sudden and powerful, like being caught in a current that dragged me backward through time and space. I didn't feel pain, at least not in the way I used to understand it, but there was a sensation of resistance, as if my soul was being forced back into something it had already let go of. The light around me dimmed, the presence of the beings faded, and the world of the living rushed toward me like a wave crashing against the shore. Then impact. I gasped, my body convulsing as if waking from a nightmare. But this was no nightmare. This was life. Real, raw, physical life. I felt the weight of my limbs, the pounding of my heart, the sharp sting of oxygen flooding my lungs. Beeping machines screamed alarms around me, and voices shouted in confusion. "She's breathing," someone cried. "She has a pulse." I blinked rapidly, my vision blurred, my body shaking uncontrollably. Hands pressed down on my shoulders, stabilizing me, keeping me grounded in this world I had nearly left behind. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry, my voice hoarse. Someone leaned close, their face coming into focus. "Monica?" It was my doctor. His voice was thick with disbelief. "Monica, can you hear me?" I managed a weak nod, my lips trembling. He turned to the nurse beside him, his voice urgent. "Check her vitals again." I don't believe this. I wanted to tell them I had seen something incredible. I wanted to tell them I had been somewhere else, that I had glimpsed eternity itself. But my body was too weak, my mind too overwhelmed. I closed my eyes, letting the exhaustion wash over me, even as my heart pounded with the knowledge that I had been given a second chance. In the weeks following my return, I struggled to reconcile what I had seen with the life I was expected to resume. On the outside, nothing had changed. The world continued spinning, people carried on with their routines, and hospitals still smelled like antiseptic and uncertainty. But inside me, everything was different. I had touched eternity, glimpsed the truth of existence beyond this fragile human shell, and I could never go back to living blindly. At first, I kept my experience to myself. Who would believe me? Who would understand? I feared being dismissed as delusional, or worse, pitted as someone who had suffered trauma and conjured illusions to cope. But the more time passed, the more I realized that my silence was a disservice, not just to myself, but to others who might need to hear what I had learned. So I started small. I reached out to my mother, who had been devastated by my death and overwhelmed with relief when I miraculously woke up. I told her pieces of what I had seen, careful not to overwhelm her with the enormity of it all. To my surprise, she didn't question me. She simply held my hand and whispered, "Thank you, Lord," as tears streamed down her face. I confided in Sarah, my best friend, who had been at my bedside when I died. She had been the one to collapse beside my hospital bed, sobbing uncontrollably. When I told her about the presence that had comforted me, about how I had seen her grief from above, she broke down again. But this time, it was with joy. "You were still with us," she murmured, "even when we thought you were gone." Daniel, my younger brother, was harder to reach. He had always been skeptical of faith, dismissing religion as a crutch for the fearful. But when I told him about the review I had undergone, about how every action, no matter how small, had meaning, he grew quiet. For the first time in years, he didn't argue. He just asked, "So it all really matters?" I nodded. Yes, every choice, every word, every act of love or cruelty. It all echoes beyond this life. His response was simple. It changed something in me. Then I guess I should start choosing better. Those conversations were just the beginning. Over time, I shared my testimony with others. People in my church, strangers who sensed something different about me, seekers who had lost loved ones and longed for answers. Each time I spoke, I saw the same reaction. awe, hope, and a deep, unspoken longing to believe that death was not the end. But more than anything, experience transformed the way I lived. I stopped taking life for granted. I stopped allowing petty conflicts to consume me. I forgave more easily, loved deeply, and saw purpose in every moment. I knew now that my soul was real, that my actions carried weight beyond what I could see, and that the choices I made today would shape my eternity. I had been given a second chance, and I was determined not to waste it. If there's one thing I want you to take from my story, it's this: your soul is real. You may not think about it every day, buried under the noise of work, responsibilities, and distractions, but it exists, and it matters more than anything else you'll ever possess. I used to think of my soul as something abstract, something spiritual leaders talked about, but no one could truly define. But after what I experienced, I know better. Your soul is the essence of who you are, the sum of your choices, your love, your regrets, your hopes. And when this life ends, it's the only thing you carry with you. I don't say this to frighten you, but to remind you that this world is not all there is. Death is not the end, it's a doorway. And what waits on the other side depends on how you live right now. I saw it with my own eyes, how every act of kindness ripples beyond this life, how every moment of forgiveness changes something eternal. I also saw the weight of regret, the sorrow of those who realized too late what they had neglected. Please don't wait until it's too late to make peace with the things that matter most. If you're listening to this and you've been holding on to bitterness, let it go. If you've been pushing love away, open your heart. If you've been living without purpose, start seeking it now. Don't wait for a second chance like I was given. Live as if eternity is real, because it is. And every step you take, every choice you make, is shaping the path ahead. I was given a gift, the opportunity to return, to live differently. And I hope with all my heart that my story inspires you to do the same.
That's what everybody says that's went through this either way, on either side. And again, all that I've heard through all my life, through the stories or on TV or anything else, is you have that second chance. They've seen it. We might not, but they have seen it, and they say the same thing. Y'all drop an emoji, a candle, or something in there, because I know everybody in here has lost someone that they love and that they care about. And if you have, drop that emoji. We've all lost someone we love, someone that we care deeply about. And we wonder and we hope they're in a better place. They may, a lot of times they say, children out there, for example, a child remembers their past lives. I don't doubt children. I don't doubt children at all, one bit, at all. Did I tell y'all the story about the fire that we had at the time, and my third son seeing the picture of my grandmother, which he was 5 months old when she died, and we were already in Florida, so he didn't know her. Did I tell y'all that story? I may have. But we had a fire in our house one time in Florida. And anyway, long story short, I won't go into the whole thing, but he's the one that woke my husband up. And that night I had got off from work and I was in a whole nother area of the house. And anyway, fast forward it to later on, later on down the road. We were at my mom's house and there was a picture of my grandmother, who again died when he was 5 months old. And he told us he knew her. That was the angel that helped him helped him. I forgot how I worded it, but she was the angel. We asked, how do you know her? But she's the one that told him, and it was her. And then we showed another picture of her. He was small at the time. He was still only like 3. And I believe in angels. You'll never not get me to believe in angels. I believe in angels very much so. I believe in guardian angels. You know, but I know we've all lost somebody we love. And I know we're surrounded by people we love too. But they say children out there, they remember their past lives. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what to think about that. I don't know what to think about the afterlife or stuff like reincarnation and stuff like that. I don't know what to think about that. I'll just be honest with you. But I believe what kids say, and that's just me. I got another one here. I appreciate y'all being here. If you want to come in and out, I know this is a long live, but I think I got one more. Hold on. Oh, no, not that one. We already did that one, didn't we? Let's get him down. Uh-oh, hold on. Do I got one more? Hold on. Might not have one more. Oh, that might have been all. Shoot. I don't think I do. I don't think I have that other one. Darn it. Well, what I would suggest is, let me see if I can find, hold on, who was it? We watched it Night Fire. We watched that one. We watched Near-Death Experience channels. Oh, there was one I was going to pull up on the other side. It's a channel called The Other Side. That's the one. Well, they have several. So I would suggest y'all just watch that, because evidently Smiley didn't pull it up like a dummy. Okay. I pulled up 2 of the same one. I know y'all don't want to go that. Okay. I'll look at it here in a minute. Nana, I'll look at it and then I'll let you know I got it, honey. I will. Because it probably came through. I just hadn't checked. I've been gone all day pretty much. So yeah, it's probably there. Absolutely. But you know, I don't doubt any kids at all. You know, we may even do a part 2 of something similar. I don't know. Just hit that like button and subscribe, and we can do different things like this. I enjoy, learning along with y'all, and exploring, I guess, is the word I'm actually looking for. Raymond says, for sure, always will remember Sebastian and Summer and Jack and Lily and the missing and Devlin. Absolutely. There's so many things, so many kids out there and so many people. Maybe we can do a part 2. There's plenty of videos on this stuff. Maybe we would like to do I don't know. I'd be interested in finding out more about the reincarnation and stuff. I don't know. There are some videos I didn't want to pull up because it was the S side and all that. And I just thought that'd be too traumatic for people. I didn't even watch it. But, a lot of people think that's debatable. Anyway, I didn't even want to go there at all. But that's something y'all could pull up and try to learn maybe on your own. There's all kinds of videos on this. It is very interesting. And sometimes we get into all this crime and hate and all the stuff that's going out here in this world today. And it is so what people's doing to their parents and what people's doing to their children. And, you know, that's what the Bible says, how it's going to come to an end. You'll see that at the end, or, you know, like that. That's Revelation. We've seen a lot of stuff come to pass. But what we're failing to do is we're failing to take the time to look at stuff like this and realize, hey, we need to take a look at our own selves. That's what we really need to be doing. Hey, Pink Warrior. Yeah, we need to be taking a look at our own self. See, she even agrees with me. We don't need to be worrying about everything else. So maybe we just need to turn just a little bit, you know. New things is good. New things is good. Different is good sometimes as well. Keeping all the other things too is good. But I just thought this would be a good little break and a good little something we could listen to and try to learn and figure out. And I hope it was okay with everybody to do. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone, every single one of you who stayed, who shared, who spoke from their heart. Y'all was talking in the chat. I loved seeing that. That was absolutely wonderful. I like seeing y'all come together. We're a little family over here, and I love it. I love all the new people. Broke my heart about Panda Bear's mom and Miss Donna. I am so sorry. You know, but whether you believe in heaven or science or something in between, tonight just reminded all of us, at least I think it did, life is too precious. It's too short. And love is eternal. And love does make this world go round, honey. It makes this world go round. And it's not too late, not yet. And like I always say, I'd rather be safe than sorry. But that's my own personal self, you know. But if this conversation touched you at all, share it or put the thumbs up or whatever you want to do. I hope y'all will join me again. I really appreciate you, Raymond and Millie and Panda Bear's mom and everybody right here who helped. I really wish Miss Donna could have got a membership too, but it is YouTube. It's random, and I agree with Raymond 100,000%. It shouldn't be random. It is your money. It's your money. You know. Where am I at? I can't see. I can see, but I can't get the comments back. Oh, I gotta go to the live. I gotta go to the live. Hey, H. Davis. Thank you, honey. Thank you. You like it? Thank you, honey. So you must have been on rewind. But anyway, you all mean the world to me. I want all of you to stay safe, stay kind, be blessed, be good. Things can change in the blink of an eye, and I only want the best for everybody, all of us, you, me, everybody, them, they, all of us. But with that, I guess we've been here a little bit over 2 hours, and I thank you again for being here with me. Say your prayers. Say your prayers to yourself. You don't have to be on your hands and knees. God hears you. Okay, that's my belief. God hears you. It's nice to be on your hands and knees, but you don't have to be, just like you don't have to be in a church. Just do the best you can. Live, love, forgive, be happy, okay? And do right. I love you all. Be safe, and I'll see you in the streets. YouTube streets, that is. Thank you all. Good night.